something. Oh yeah, we up to something. Yeah, we up to something.
Yo, we've been gone for a minute. Now we back with the Jump Off Swerve City Podcast. I'm not even gonna say the season 3 or add a number of the episode. We just gonna say season 4, episode 1, and what a way to start this whole new regime of the Swerve City Podcast with the UFC Hall of Fame and legend right here, Rashad Evans, man.
What's up?
What's
man?
going on,
What's
bro?
What's good, man? What's good? It's good to be on the Swerve. Y'all call it the Swerve or Swerve City?
Swerve
City.
You can call whatever you want. You can refer to it however you like, sir.
Right.
You the legend, brother.
The Swerve.
Yes, yeah, man. Like, this was a connection that was made between this man right here, this consummate professional, of my partner, my co-host, Monteasy Scott. What's going on, man? It's been a while, man. You gotta cue them up, catch them up on what
it's been a while, man. We've been during this quarantine time. We've been extremely busy, as you see. My brother on NXT each and every Tuesday. Make sure you guys check that out. Hit roll. Make sure you guys hit all the merch. You get everything of that nature.
WWE shop.
My brother's on there. Me, myself, been in the studio working hard on these next projects. One with my brother and one for Erica's son too, which you guys will get more information on as well. So a lot of things I've been working on in the studio. Also, you guys, if you guys go to youtube.com/Swerve City Podcast, you'll see all the podcasts, the music we've been dropping. There's been a lot we've been doing during this off season, which is never an off season for us because we're always busy and always moving. So make sure you guys, once again, go to youtube.com/Swerve City Podcast and check out everything we have going on.
So that's just a little good way to wrap everything up. And how, this last 6 months, 8 months, we in August, pretty much September.
Right.
It's been a long year. 2021 has been amazing. Better upgrade than 2020, also, right?
Yeah.
The 2020 has been horrendous. But our business boomed in Swerve City.
Yes, it did.
Now it's on the Peacock Network.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
10 episodes.
That's what's up, man. That's
10 episodes that moved over from the WWE Network onto the Peacock Network. So check those out, man. So let's get everything started, transition over to Mr. Rashad Evans. How have you been, brother? How's everything going?
I'm good, man. Just enjoying life here in South Florida. Been busy, been working with some fighters, just been taking care of the family and just, trying to live life, trying to stay COVID free, baby.
No. Ooh. And thank you for inviting us. First of all, I got to say, thank you for inviting to this beautiful gym, Combat Club, man. This place is amazing. Thank you. Look, if you're going to get some shots of this in the pro set with Mike over here inside behind the camera as usual, get a layout of this beautiful gym. How long has this place been open? How long you been?
Probably about 6 years now.
6 years?
Yeah, 5-6 years now.
Dope.
Yeah, we've my boy Rodney Brewer, him and another partner run this place. So this is my happy place. I got a gym that I go train with down in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. Over at Extreme Action Park in that area over there. Okay. It's called H Kickboxing. That's where I go over there and train. But I come over here at least 2 or 3 times a week just to, my little vacation. I like to come here. Yeah, my little sanctuary. Come in here and train with some of the young talent, work with some of the young folks, because for me that's my biggest joy right now. Now that I'm retired, I just truly enjoy just giving back the knowledge to some of these up and coming athletes. And then when you see their eyes light up and when you show them something, it just makes it feel like, you know what, man, you're doing the right thing. And
that breakthrough moment for them.
Yeah, that breakthrough moment. So I'm happy to get that to people,
Absolutely. Isn't that like the feeling when you're getting a new artist, get him in the studio?
Yeah, man.
What's that feeling like for you?
It's amazing because it's almost the same discipline of what you guys do. It's considered different, but it's the same in a lot of ways with being able to see potential in somebody and being able to help them grow. I know with you doing mixed martial arts, same thing with music or wrestling. It's all a microcosm of seeing something in someone and knowing that they have that spirit. I always say, us as experienced veterans, you'll never get that feeling of the first time again.
Never. Right.
That feeling. Once that feeling goes, it's kind of weird. And if you live that through other people, and you start seeing that glimmer when they start to get it, and you stand back and you got it, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a great feeling.
It's a great feeling. Like when you start to, like you said, once you start to see them get it and understand, and then them starting to implement it in live action, then you just like, dang, I taught that boy that. See that? I taught that boy that. So it's cool, man. It's such a rewarding process, and I never thought that I would feel so fulfilled being on the other side of competing, being on the other side, being a coach and everything. I never thought I would feel so fulfilled just by fanning somebody else's flames, and it's an amazing experience.
What would you say is your strength in coaching now?
The mental game.
Yep.
I never forget to address the mental part of it. So much of our game is all about the physicality of it, and you can bog somebody's whole mind with just a bunch of information when it comes to just what they need to do to be physically prepared. But that's not the case when it comes to mentality. A lot of coaches don't really address the mentality and the mental aspect of what these fighters are going through. And once you're able to tap into that, once you're able to really get these fighters to be accountable on a mental level, then you can get them to raise their level a whole nother level on top of what they're able to do physically speaking.
Absolutely.
Wow.
What you say is something you're still working on, a weakness of yours at the point of like coaching, but you're still like trying to improve on, especially with each new fighter, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
You don't want do you want everybody having the same type of mentality or physical, or you like this niche works with this person, but this is not going to work with this particular fighter?
Like as a coach, I've learned that, everybody's an individual, and to not get too far off their individuality is a key to that person's success. But at the same time, you do have to implement some fundamental, this is what we need to do on a fundamental level, just on the technical aspect. But you have to be able to leave enough room. And I've been working on having patience, patience to really allow these people these athletes to grow in a way where I'm not, forcing them to get something that they don't get yet, because you can show somebody something a million times, but they just won't get it. And it may be just that one time they see it from somebody else, or it may come at a different kind of direction. Then all of a sudden the light pops on, so you never know when that's going to be. So whenever I try to teach somebody something and I find them not getting it and I find myself getting frustrated, I just take a step back and just kind of let it just kind of ruminate with them for a little bit, and then, go back to it once they kind of, worked it out a little bit.
Right.
Look, the thing that I've studied and learned about great legends and athletes, and hearing you guys speak from the LeBron Jameses to yourself, what you just said, and Magic Johnson said this too, on why it was hard for him to transition into coaching if he ever did it. It's when you have certain expectations and you're a legend, you're a Hall of Famer, and you push someone, and that patience is kind of hard because the way you see it, they might not see it that way. They might not have the experience, the development. They have the hustle, or they might be there, but they just don't. They might not have the nuances you have. So sometimes that person might be better as a 3-point specialist than handling the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's learning how to be able to look at it from yourself, because your expectations of what you have and how you might have go into that strategy of, in the MMA fight or music or wrestling or anything like that. It's hard to sometimes sit back and kind of just let them figure it out, because you want to just, I would kick in right here. But maybe for that person, it's better for them to fall back.
Absolutely.
And it's just adapting to what that person is too.
Yeah.
Do you find that, with your training and finding new talent and new people, also with the strengths and weaknesses, what's something yourself that you're looking at when you see a guy, you say, you know what, that's it, or a girl, that's it. She got to have that it factor. What is that it factor to you?
Oh man, the it factor can vary, but it's more or less like I look for movement. Movement is one of the biggest things for me. Is if somebody has the way they move, the way they kind of can flow in and out. You know what I'm saying? That to me is something that I can work with. Because coordination is everything. You know what I'm saying? Like you can, and then even though I look for movement and I look for mentality. I can work with somebody with a mentality. Like if somebody has a great mentality, then I can work with their not so skilled, not so athletic sometimes. You know what I'm saying? When they're not so athletic, I can work with them, because with somebody who's mentally strong, they will push themselves to get the other 10% they need, or work the other 10% into their physicality that they may need to, so they'll be able to come out ahead. So a lot of times, you get people who just kind of get stuck, and they're not really able to get past something. But then you're like, you know what? Let me just find a way to work with this person and help them to really realize their skill and what they really can do.
What about the knuckleheads? How do you break through to the knuckleheads, the hard-headed ones?
You got to drown them, baby.
Yeah. It wasn't just like no matter what. They're like, bruh, all right, you're gonna do it your way. You got to let them go.
That's the ones you get. That's the ones I'll be like, you know what? We should go a couple rounds.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about.
Peace.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what?
See,
let's go a couple rounds. And listen, I get like I usually like when I'm training.
Yeah,
I'll train with some of my guys, and we'll just go. We'll go, and I'll dog their ass out if they get, you know. It
needs to be done.
It has to be done.
You have to be humbled.
It has to be done because the truth of the matter is this right here. We're not. This is a hard way to make a living. You know what I'm saying? And the fighting is dangerous. And the fighting aspect is really not the hardest part of it. You know what I'm saying? Everything that comes along with it is hard. So when I get a guy and he says he wants to be a fighter, a mixed martial artist, I'm like, okay. Then I know I got to test him. I got to see what he's truly made of. You know, not only on the physical aspect, but mentally is the most important. You know what I'm saying?
Check for instincts as well.
Instincts as well. Yeah. But just gotta he's got to have that hunger, that mindset. You know, and if he's able to have that, then I know he's gonna be okay. But if not, then I'm like, I might be wasting my time on this one, you know.
There's been some mat wrestlers I had to do the same with.
I'm sure.
Like I've done seminars like in London and like back like Mexico, Puerto Rico. I like help train some young people. Yeah. You got to do the same thing. You got to test them. They're like, oh, you're an athletic. Okay, like because you got to show them in like the in the sports entertainment world, the pro wrestling world, it's not all about athleticism either. Yeah, like you know you got to get tested in a bunch of different ways. Like oh, I got to show you different techniques that you have never seen before. I got to get behind you in different ways. I got to show like now I'm like okay now do it now can you bring it back and then like they can't and I'm like that's good because now. If you're open-minded to learning how to do it, now we can invite you in. Right. You feel like it's an inviting in process. It's not just like we can't just open it to you.
Yeah. It's definitely an inviting process. It's more or less like it's like you know for lack of a better word, you know, you're joining something. You know what I'm saying? You're becoming part of something, and that's what it is. Like when you join the team, when you join the team at the highest level. Bro, you joining. I mean, it's like a gang in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you joining something that
blood in, blood out.
Yeah, blood in, blood out, and literally, literally. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and you learn a loyalty for your people that you bleed and you sweat with every single day that you don't have for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And those people are there for you, and you start to lean on those people because every day you don't feel like waking up and training and doing all that shit. Yeah. Sometimes it gets to the point where you're just like, man, I don't got the motivation. I don't want to do this. But then, you know, your guy in training be like, hey, we got to get this work in today. And that's all you need sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's tough because sometimes it's tough having that get up. Like my training, the way that I started with music, and I had to get in quarantine. I slept off because nobody's doing any shows or anything. But the training that Outkast used to do, my mentor used to have me do. We have to jog and rap our lyrics out loud.
Oh yeah,
have to jog. I mean, not you don't have to. Some people go full speed and some people just jog, but you have to jog and you have to rap your lyrics out loud. If he sees you starting to lose it, you have to start all over again.
Dang, that'd be the worst too.
And you have to get the whole song out, choruses, and that's back when songs was like 5 minutes long, bro. You know what I mean? Now you know 2 minutes you can get by, but that back then,
I've been training with that too. I've been like, I'll be on a Stairmaster. And I try to keep the rhythm going and like keep my cadences in. Yeah. And that's like listen to our songs. Then I try to do the other people's songs that I know. And I'm like, okay, can I still remember it? Keep it. Man, it's a challenge. Like that's tough, that mental.
So you be doing the pro wrestling, huh?
Oh yes. Sports entertainment, sir.
Oh, sports entertainment. You know, my boy was a part of NXT too.
Oh.
His name was Tino.
Oh, Tino. Yeah, I've been in the ring with Tino. Yeah. Shout out Tino, man. Get out there. I don't know what he's doing now, man. I miss you because he had been let go, unfortunately. But he was a good character to be around. Yeah. He was a real good dude. But
how do you? One thing I want to ask you, speaking directly when you was talking about testing. So you're
1, 2, 3.
You're in a field where discipline is like the maximum thing in what you guys do. Discipline, the mental approach, and what you guys do as opposed to physically. So You've had many championship fights. How does it go? Let's say, for example, even when you fought, like, let's say John Jones or Rampage. How do you go within the angst of, at the time, might not personally like that person, but still maintain the discipline and the self-awareness to know that when you come in this ring, there's still a job to have. You're not overtaken in your emotions because you might have a certain feeling for this person you might not like, to not overdo it. How do you keep yourself balanced in that sense?
It's a hard thing. It's a really hard thing because fighting is an emotional thing, you know, and when you get hit with a shot that hurt, the first thing you want to do is respond back in an emotional kind of way. You know what I'm saying? You want to be like, mother, and go back. But you
wind up.
Yeah.
Like, wait.
But that'll get you caught, you know? So you got to be able to eat something and just kind of wear it for a second, and then just, you know, then be willing to give it back at the perfect time. You know what I'm saying? If you go directly right away, that could be the setup for an even more powerful shot. So you always got to, you always got to be able to divorce yourself from the emotions. I'll tell you right now, though, it wasn't always an easy task, you know, and it's something that I got better at as the more experience happened and the more fights that I got into where I didn't like the person, you know? You know, when I fought John Jones, it was really hard because, you know, there was a whole backstory behind it. You know, we trained at the same gym. You know, Greg Jackson and Mike Winkeljohn were like my two mentors that were my coaches, and you know, they were part of my career, in my early part of my career, and they meant a lot to me in an emotional sense. So when they left me and they were with him, it was that, along with my relationship with him too, that kind of made it harder for me going into that fight. So when I went to that fight, I remember just like throwing a few, like in the beginning of the fight, probably like maybe 10 seconds into it, I felt gassed right away. And it was like that adrenaline dump and that emotional dump, you know, at the same time. And it took me about a couple rounds to kind of work through it and kind of calm down and, you know, get my breath back on pace, because what happens is when you go in there a little too charged up, you almost start holding your breath when you're throwing punches, you're hyperventilating, your breathing pattern is off.
Your heart pumping a lot faster.
Your heart is pumping a lot faster, so it gets harder for you to catch your breath. And before you know, you're like, I can't breathe. And then you start being nervous because you know you're in shape and you can't breathe. And it's like the first round. So then you start getting tired because you're tired.
Yep. And then you're thinking more. That's another muscle
that's another
too.
Muscle.
You're like overthinking too.
Yeah. So it's a real craft to be able to, you know, pull yourself out of this. When I'm saying you got to be able to pull yourself out of it and being able to look at it and be like, you know what, I got him going. I got him emotionally charged up, because it's like this. You want to be like hot potato. We play some hot potato. I want to leave that emotional bag with you before we step into the cage, so you can hold it all, so you can think about it all night before we get into the fight, you know? Like at weigh-ins, it's your last chance to make that impression with your opponent. So what you try to do is you try to do something to let him think about you the whole night, because if he's thinking about you the whole night, then he's not able to rest. He's not able to relax. So then when he gets into the fight, he's a little bit off pace. His timing's off, you know, because
just that little bit of percentage of it is enough.
It's enough. It's enough, because you want to be able to rent as much space as you can in somebody's head.
With that being said, selling a fight, how important is that, like, with the mental aspect? Are you trying to sell it, or are you trying to, you kind of want to do a combination of both,
right?
Essentially, especially with the mega draws, the main events on the card and stuff. Like, there's the business aspect, but then there's also the art, the mental, trying to get in psychological warfare with the opponent.
Yeah.
Like, what's your theory and your tactic on selling the fight? Yeah.
Well, selling a fight is always a must. So you always gotta, sell the fight. And when you're selling a fight, it's important to really make a distinction. You know, you got to make a distinction, like, okay, I'm doing this because, you got to really understand it in your mind, the why you're doing this behind it. If you're emotionally acting out, then you're already playing, you're already behind, because he's emotionally got you charged in some kind of way. He's already in control. So whenever I have the fight with somebody, the fight starts the minute that person signed the contract. And I'm gonna do whatever I can to really make that person feel that he has a fight coming up. And I'm gonna I'm going to make that person carry as much pressure and mental weight as I can until we get into that, cage or ring or wherever we're going to fight at, because I play the crowd, but I'm also playing you.
Yeah.
And my biggest play is towards you. When I'm in a fight sometimes, even in a fight, I'll talk to him, I'll say things to him.
All right, so I've always seen that with you.
Yeah, and I'll kind of remind him of things that I said throughout my whole trash talking, building up to the fight, And I act a certain kind of way, and I may act brash, I may act cocky and all those things, but that's not for the audience. That's for the guy, because he's reading what I'm doing. He's throwing a punch, and I'm like, oh, please, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or I'm coming off a certain kind of way, and then he's like, man, all those kind of things that I do inside the cage, it makes my opponent second guess himself. And if I can get him to second guess himself, if I can get him to, get into the place where he's not counting on his training, because the training is to make it so you don't think. When you don't think and you react, that's when you're fast. That's when you're on top of it. You're just reacting and you're just seeing whatever comes and you're just going with the flow. But when I get you thinking, then I get you to freeze. And when you're freezing, that's all me all day. I'm 2 or 3 steps ahead of you.
Yep. Why is Jake Paul winning these fights? Please, somebody tell me that.
Because he's a giant mentally speaking. What he does is so good because he plays a troll game the absolute perfect way. And he's a very hard person to really bother because he knows why he's doing this. He knows this is just a game. And at the end of it, if you do say something to burn him, he'll just say something totally dumb or something stupid and just, take the pressure off him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He'll say something very trollish if you say something that does get next to him, and then it will be so absurd. You're just like, wait, what? And it never finds its mark on him. You know what I'm saying? You can call him a poser, you can call him a culture vulture, whatever you want to call him. Some of those things may find a mark on him and it may get him to second guess himself, but you'll never tell that because the way he comes across. He's always coming across as that just antagonistic person who's always got that smile underneath and who's always able to just say, you know what? I don't need this. You do.
I always feel like he's always puts himself in a win-win position.
Always.
Like, no matter what. Like, if he wins, like, yo, oh my God, like his streak keeps going. His stock keeps going YouTube. Like, oh, yada, yada. I told y'all. I proved y'all wrong. I told you, like, y'all looked at me, y'all doubted me, yada, yada, yada. He always can play that game.
Always.
If he loses, well, I just sold out the house anyway. Y'all here buying these pay-per-views and, you just beat someone, an amateur / professional.
That's why.
So it's win-win no matter what with him. So why not take the chance to fight Pacquiao? Why not take that chance?
He has nothing to lose.
He has nothing to lose.
And that's the thing that makes him so dangerous, Like the last fight with him and T Wood, man, I was just
dude, how you feel about that, bro?
I went to somebody else's house to watch that. Shout out Top Dollar. Thank you for the purchase.
The whole thing, bro. Say what you like, brother.
Man, I have a hard time with it, man. I have a hard time with it. I mean, listen, he was a bit bigger than T Wood as far as tallness and stuff like that go. But
that reach was crazy.
At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, T Wood has been doing this for a minute. Like, I feel as if way more activity would have made that fight easy for him.
Do you feel like he kind of didn't press the gas as he should have?
100% he didn't press the gas.
I said the same thing.
100% he didn't press the gas, but so I thought the fight was going to be different because typically speaking, he's going from 170 pounds, he's fighting from 175 pounds, and he weighs around 190, so that's about 20 pounds off his natural weight. So if you cut that kind of weight, you're going to not be as energized as you were if you're at 190, but he came into this fight at his natural weight, so I thought for sure he'd have some energy to let it go. But he's mentally trained himself for so long to fight at that rate because he's afraid to get tired.
Yeah.
And because he's afraid to get tired, he fights at a very economical pace, actually a below economical pace, because he could do a lot more and still not get tired. But it's the fear of not getting tired that keeps him on No Punch Island. Like,
you look at them numbers at the end of every round.
Man,
Yeah.
I mean,
like throwing like 8 punches.
Yeah, because Jake Paul, he's pretty tough. He's a pretty tough kid, and he's got pretty decent boxing, but pressure would have made him just bust every pipe that you would just seen. Is there's a leak. There would have been holes in his whole entire game because the pressure would have made him get tired. And when he got tired, his mouth was open. He was circling out the wrong way. Arms were down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was so much more that T Wood could have done, but he just got afraid to just kind of, I can't say afraid, overcautious to get hit with a punch. You know what I'm saying? And
because you don't want to get dropped by the YouTuber as well.
That's right.
Like I said, that mental game is always there.
That mental game.
Those brothers tapped into that. Like, don't get knocked out by the YouTubers, the lame, like corny guys that y'all call on the internet. You can't do it.
And that was to me like that to me the saddest part of the whole fight was at the end though. At the end.
No, let's run that back. Let's run that back, though. I'm like, no, this ain't 21, dog. Right. Like, you can't just like, yo, give me the ball. No, so for real, come on. Like,
I mean, look, it would have been a better sell. Like, we would be like, yeah, let's run it back if it was nonstop action. Like, he was just, he was just throwing them. You know what I'm saying? But like, how do you sell another fight when you weren't really that active and like you
next
know,
time I'll be
that's funny. That's funny. I have something to ask you. Something with the mental aspect. Something I have to ask you because I do this to tell the tape with myself as I get older. Now UFC vegan dreadlock Rashad Evans, the OG, one side of the ring, young. Brash haircut, Chuck Liddell, Rashad Evans. Tell the tape. How does Rashad now beat the young Rashad back then?
How does Lakers LeBron against Miami LeBron go?
Tell the strengths in both sides and how would each person get the advantage on each side?
Okay, well, the Rashad back then was much faster, more explosive, and had like a little better bounce in his legs, you know. This version of Rashad is much more cerebral, better technique, probably hit with more power now that I understand, you know, different things. So it will basically come down to just the endurance factor would be the key. I don't know, man. You know, I mean. I was a bad boy when I was young.
So you can't go wrong either way. You win either way, brother.
I know. I was a bad boy. I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, I would have to go with the younger Suga, man.
You think young Suga win?
Younger Suga, he was just because here's the thing about it. The younger Suga didn't have the experience, good and bad, and when you don't have that experience. On the bad side, you don't have those bad memories or the bad feelings of getting stopped and not thinking that, and thinking that these punches can hurt you. Back in the day, man, I was like, man, this shit don't hurt me. Like, I would get hit with a punch and I would just like walk through it. And I mean, it was never a thing to me. I never thought about it. I never thought I could get knocked out. I never thought anybody could really, phase me. You know, that was part of just that young and dumb. You know what I'm saying? When you're young and dumb will take you really far because you just don't like when you don't know what you don't know.
Overthinking ain't an option, bro.
And
you're just doing it.
You're just doing it. You know what I'm saying? So you're just doing it at a different rate. So I think that mentality better serves MMA.
So you were speaking on Tyron Woodley. Talk about that mechanics of MMA into boxing. Do we change up anything, footwork, stance, and all that? Because I remember, like, I was at one of my homies' party, and he was like, "Man, Tyron's his stance is just like a little awkward for boxing." Mm-hmm. So, would you agree with that? Yeah,
he was a little too square, little square. But that's one of the things you got to adjust. You know, when you're when you got to worry about kicks, low leg kicks, and you got to worry about somebody transitioning and going underneath you for a takedown. And, even when you're throwing punches, you got to be able to move in and out of range and still be able to be defensively okay, because we wear the smaller gloves. So it's a lot different when we throw punches. But, with Tyron, it just looks like he didn't really get used to the range. A lot of the punches that he came with the overhand, he'll throw it and then he'll be already too close. So he was covering way too much distance to just even throw it instead of just trusting where he's at or being able to judge, where's that good spot where he needs to just let the overhand go. Because he wasn't really able to land it effectively. He landed at one time effectively, had him pretty much stunned against the ropes.
Yeah.
But whenever you're looking to land just one significant blow, it never comes. It's the hardest thing in the world, because your intent, everything you do shows off that you want to do it. So if you're going against somebody with any kind of decent smarts, then they're going to feel that and pick up on it and do their best to stop it. And most of the time, they'll avoid it. But when you start throwing punches and combinations and just kind of letting it flow, then you're able to find that shot. And when you're, not letting every single punch go with intensity, then you're able to find a shot too as well, because then you can do some tempo changes in the punch. You can go this one slow, but this one fast. You can do a lot of different, changing up the speeds, which will make your combinations that much more deadly and which will make it so you're able to land that big shot. But, Tyron was, he just wasn't able to land, just wasn't busy enough.
Would you say that's a fault on the camp or a fault in the fighter more so?
I would say more of fault in the fighter, because I know his trainers, Pedro Diaz, he's trained some great fighters. He's Cuban coach, one of the best in the game ever. My boy Tyrone Spung trained with Pedro Diaz for a long time and great trainer. So I think it was more or less just, what Tyron's bringing into the fight. I feel like he's just mentally, have some problems when it comes to letting it go. It wouldn't be like, if I was working with him, I would get him like a performance coach, somebody that would help him, mentally be able to just tap into that, to his best Tyron every single time, And, I had it. I had a mental coach. I got knocked out by Machida. And after that, whenever I got into the cage, I would just be like, it would just be like, I would just have too many what I call red lights. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I had a therapist, Al Fuentes, and he would work with me, and we'll talk, and he would just really disarm me and really get me, turn all those red lights that I had in my mind for action into green lights, and then I was just all go.
Okay.
So,
wow.
That's something that a lot of fighters, they're now starting to get a lot better at speaking about, because before, speaking about the mental aspect of competing was something that a lot of athletes, a lot of fighters didn't do, especially because we're fighters, we're tough. This is what we want to do. Meanwhile, we're walking out the tunnel scared as a motherfucker. That's how it is, though.
Oh God, I can imagine.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Like, and speaking of that, I have to ask you this: as you're walking out, and you might be scared. You have these different kind of emotions, man. I was talking to our producer back here, Mike. He had a great question for the music side of things. We were talking about like your ring walk, and as you're coming out, there's certain music that you have. You might be in a certain vibe when you're coming out, or there might be a certain music when you're training, or certain music when you're exercising, going through each and every day on the pads, or even exercise, or riding your bike, anything like that. Tell us a little bit about that. Was your entrance music, did it have to be like during a certain mood? Did you have to be in a certain feeling during that time when your matches were coming out? Like and tell us the songs, the music that you would pick too.
Yeah. I'm an old school hip hop head, so I will come out with, some KRS-One, and like, some Rakim, and those kind of like those hard hitting beats, you know what I'm saying? And I would develop a relationship with my walkout song while I'm in training camp. It'd become like my theme.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about it, like the song that I choose for my walkout song wouldn't necessarily be something I'm trying to choose for my walkout song. It's just something that just rocks with me this camp, like something that I'm just feeling, like something that I just hear, and it's like, yo, it's time for that work. It's time for action. So I would try to, just not put too much pressure on what that song was going to be. I would just let camp tell that story. And that's why every single fight was so significant, because every single fight, it brings a different part of me and who I am and that part out, So whenever I felt the calling for a song to come out, it had to rock, it had to thump, and it had to be able to get me up when I don't want to do something, because not every single time you walk out to a fight, you want to fight. You know what I'm saying? And there's been times.
That is a thing.
Yeah, there's times I walk out, I'm like, God damn, I don't feel like fighting today.
Oh.
But
there's been matches I'm like, I don't feel like having this match either.
Yeah.
I've had those.
Yeah. But you got to be able to you got to be able to hit the switch and just change it.
Something has to tap in at some point.
Yeah, something has to tap in. And I had a couple things that I would do to kind of get myself to tap in if I wasn't tracking. One of the things that one of my football coaches told me back in the day in high school, he said, if you act enthusiastic, you'll become enthusiastic.
Very true.
So sometimes when I was walking out there, I wouldn't really feel it, but I would just act a certain kind of way. And I would act that way until about the time I got to the cage. God damn it, I was feeling that way.
Law of attraction, brother.
Yeah, I would feel that way. And after a while, it was like that feeling. And what was that feeling, But that's the whole part of a fight that makes a fight the experience that it is. It's not so much punching somebody in the face. It's not even about your opponent in the cage. It's about you overcoming yourself. It's about you overcoming that emotional roller coaster and riding all the twists and turns and the loops and everything that roller coaster is giving you on an emotional level without having a fear of getting off, and just ride it and just stick through it and just know you're going to be okay. When you're able to ride that emotional roller coaster and you go out there and you perform the way you train to perform, it's a feeling that no drug on the earth can touch.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You're just like, man, I did it.
Yep.
And it's not even the soul that you just took from this dude that's laid out. It's everything else, man. It's about you just getting over that fear inside yourself, where you feel like there's a piece of yourself that you've been able to master. You've unlocked a piece of yourself you're able to master, And to be able to master yourself is the highest learning, No se si alto is, know thyself. And when you know thyself, there's nothing else in the world you need to know, because knowing yourself is knowing everything else in the world. So when you unlock little pieces of yourself, you feel like you're getting closer to some kind of divine truth.
Yeah, man, there's I love when you see a performer, you see a fighter, you finally see them okay, now they know who they are.
Yeah, now they know.
They tapped into it. You can feel it. It literally transitions through the screen.
Yeah.
And you feel like you get to get a little closer to them too.
Yeah.
You see it in any aspect of performing, comedians, I feel like Dave Chappelle now, he knows himself.
He knows himself.
He's not really telling us jokes. He's just giving sermons.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Somebody like that, who would you say is an artist right now that's broken through to really knowing themselves as their
J. Cole.
Cole? I would say Cole. Mm-hmm. Cole's a good one. I say Tyler. I'm a big Tyler Creator fan. Always have been for years. And he's always he was one of those troll musicians early on. But now, ever since the Flower Boy aspects and going on to Igor and all that, he's just so he was always vulnerable because he just didn't care. He went from being careless to caring less. Now his music is just oh, I'm free. I'm saying what I want. I don't care what you think about me, but you're gonna feel something. Now it's okay, I feel closer to them. Now everybody feels more closer to these artists than they've ever had before.
Right.
And it's with that. Yeah. They finally, I feel like they blossomed and opened up more.
Cole gives you very little. He said, okay, I wasn't a fan of the Jury. I wasn't a fan of the Flash. This album, I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to grow my hair out. I'm more free. This is more of a spiritual thing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you that. You're going to see me down the street riding my bike talking to regular people.
Yep.
I'm just going to do that.
Yeah.
And
order food at the food truck.
This is J. Cole, multi-platinum famous guy. And what he does is he disappears, and then when he comes out, he gives you the music, and then he goes back secluded. But he gives you a piece of him while he's out.
Mm-hmm.
He gives everybody a piece of him. He's always outside for that period of time. He's outside. You see him shaking hands with people. He's in crowds with people. He's always in parades and stuff.
Yeah.
And he just goes to oblivion again.
Dope.
But he gives that's him.
Goes back in the clubs.
Yeah.
But that's him. And I feel like with you yourself, I felt like as you got older, I started to see that more in your fights. You started to more develop. It was like for me, watching your whole career after Jones, it was like you got to a point where you was like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
That was my war. But then as you got older in your career, you was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm comfortable with who I am.
Yeah.
And it takes some time for all of us to get to that point. But when you do,
Even when you're on commentary talking about fights,
Right.
it's just like you're just free.
Yeah.
Free. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, and that's something that it takes just the ability to be vulnerable, but then the also the ability to not allow any kind of fear, any kind of chatter in your mind of what you think that somebody may say to really even to get to you. And when you start coming from the position of just being yourself and just letting people just take you for whatever, just let them take you as you are, then it's just something funny that happens. You know what I'm saying? Something funny that happens because all of a sudden people start really relating to you because they see that freedom in you and they're like, dang, I want that for myself.
That feeling.
Yeah, I want to feel that way. How do you feel like that? What is it? They want to know your secret. They want to know why is it that you feel that way? How are you able to feel that way? And it's a process that's really hard to explain because a lot of times when you go through it, it's usually you're tested by fire. And on the other side of that is something profound happens where you're just like, it is what it is, man.
Yep.
And then you just stay in that place.
What would be the insecurity that you had to overcome before you got to that self part of mastery, where you got to that finding the evolution of yourself? When you were younger and you were still on your spiritual journey, what was those insecurities that you would battle before you got to this point? Because we all still battle them. But what insecurities did you have to overcome to get to this point of mastery within your spirit and your discipline?
I had to get over who I thought people thought I was.
It's a nugget, y'all.
You know what I'm saying? And that was something that I didn't really truly understand until I realized that I was trying to carry something, trying to be something that was more or less like an idea of what other people thought of me versus who I really was. And once I really started to, dive into myself, discover myself, explore who I was, and what I really wanted, then I started to, find out really who I was in a way that that I was comfortable with, and that was something that was hard because doing that is looking at, some of the things in your life that were not the best, not your highest moments, you know what I'm saying? Some things that you may have wished that you've done better, and just, some of your trials and tribulations of life. But it's good to address those without getting hung up on those, because if you address those, sometimes you can get hung up on them and then you can't get past them. But when you address them and you're able to move past it, then you're able to use that experience and get past it in a much positive way.
I was always wondering, because I feel like fighters, a majority of fighters, just from my observation, for what I see, the perception that they give off is everybody's so guarded, and like there's a steel wall. You can't penetrate anything around them. That vulnerability, they don't want you to see it. Do you feel like everybody is because everybody has the biggest fear of the loss coming up?
Good question.
Yeah, I think a lot of fighters are guarded for that reason, because the truth of the matter is that a lot of fighters are pacifists. A lot of fighters are pacifists. We fight and we have this arena to really express this side of us, but outside of that, we don't want to be in a lot of confrontations. And if we do get pulled into the confrontation, then we kind of feel like it can be a point of no return. So we try to avoid it. And because we try to avoid it, and we try to avoid everything that may come with any kind of drama that make us kind of be like more of like a recluse to people, you know, not really wanting to let anybody really get close to us, and kind of be a little bit more guarded, and may have a little bit let more of that that fighter bravado show, you know, little puffed out chest. But the truth of the matter is, like, when you really get to know a lot of fighters, you'll find some of the most amazing people, some of the most caring, some of the sweetest people that you ever imagine. It's like, damn, you beat people up for a living. Like, it's really hard to really conceptualize, because they're so not like that outside that arena, you know. And the truth of the matter is, like, a lot of fighters, they don't want people to know that they're like that. They don't want people to know that, you know, we're not, you know, gonna rip your head off and drink your blood. You know what I'm saying? We just
how do you sell the fight if they don't know that?
Right,
you
right.
know?
That's the truth of the matter.
How do they sell it?
Yeah, so they got a fear and a respect.
Oh, he plants. He has got flower garden in the back. You know, like nah.
Yeah, you don't want to show that softer side, but you know, I think nowadays more or less fighters are starting to be more aware of that kind of thing on an emotional temperature. I see a lot of fighters really speaking out about some of the mental problems that hangs over us and things like that. And that's what it comes about. It comes about talking, you know, because being a fighter, you get the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, you know, and instantly. And those lows will honestly make you want to put a gun in your head, you know, guns to your head, because it can be that hurtful, because you've taken yourself and you've become this image, you know, you become Suga Rashad Evans, you know, to the point where when Suga loses, Rashad loses, you know, and when you're not able to separate that, and you're not able to find any kind of breath outside of, you know, Suga, and you're not able to separate the two, then life becomes very hard, you know?
I watched a documentary recently. I think it was on Hulu or something like that. It was about like the Olympic athlete past their prime and they're not even doing the sport anymore. And Olympic athletes get out at the prime ages of their years, or before they reach their prime ages. Most of them get out at like 23, 24, 25. By the age of 3, they were training to do this. Like, and they kind of block their everything else as far as distraction, like things like going to the movies for us, going to school dances, going to the skating rink. They blocked all that stuff out. Yeah. Because they focused on this one thing since 3 years old, to compete, to train, to study tapes. They don't watch anything else because they study this, they study that, all the way up to high school, and they get to the age that they can start traveling and competing. And most of those athletes, they put so much focus and so much stock into something, most of them come out 5th place, 6th place. Yeah. Don't even stand on the podiums with the medalists. They work all that, and then by that time they retire at like 20, 21. Even some of the greats, they retire, that do bronze, silver, some gold, they get out at like 25. Now they can't do it anymore. They're kind of stuck because they don't know who they are anymore, because they never took those times to go to the parties with their friends, because I got to get early sleep tonight because I got to train in the morning. I can't eat this because I got to keep my body straight. I got to keep a certain diet, plants, yada, yada, yada. So can't eat that. So it was kind of eye-opening to see some of these people like finally knowing what their favorite foods are by 31. Finally understanding what they like to wear and dress, because they wear tracksuits all the time and like shorts to train in. Yeah. Like they just open up to a whole new world. Now, by that time, the world's changed too. Yeah. Yeah. But you grew up thinking, that's not a thing anymore. Yeah. We're on to this now. That's a shell shock, man. It's almost like going to war for overseas for like years and then coming back. Now, here's your bed, here's your home, live. And they're like, how do you live?
That's an interesting question. I mean, that's an interesting, I should say, statement, because I've been through that. You know, once I retired from fighting, it was me getting to know myself all over again. You know, and it was a weird feeling because, you know, my life and my time has been marked by how many fights I do a year, you know, and that was it. You know, I know like I do 2 fights or 3 fights a year, and, you know, I know every camp will be 10 weeks in camp, you know, so if I do, you know, two camps, then that's, you know, that's 20 weeks, you know, 20 weeks. I don't even got to worry about 20 weeks that I know that is in a bag where I know I'm going to be, I know what I'm going to be eating, I know the routine, I know all of that, you know, so it made life, you know,
it's routine. It's almost like military.
Yeah.
And you know when to wake up, you know what you're going to eat.
Yep.
Report here at this time, and then bed.
Yeah. And that was easy for me in a sense because I just got used to it, and it became, you know, part of how I marked time. But then when fighting was over, I was just like, man, now what am I gonna do? What do I gotta be? You know, what you know, it was just all these different things that I needed to just kind of figure out on myself. And honestly, I didn't really even know what I wanted, what motivated me, what I liked, and all those different things. Yeah, what I'm looking forward to, man. So that is when I decided to, like, that was when I really started to dive into more like in the psychedelics, man. Yeah. I dove more into like psychedelics, and I dove into psychedelics because I really truly wanted to understand my mind, and psychedelics brings a fear that is kind of hard to explain because when you do a psychedelic, there's like there's uncertainty sometimes of what's going to happen, what's on the other side of it. But it teaches you to let go, and what I wanted to do, and one thing I liked about fighting was because, you know, fighting was a lot like letting go too. Because in order for me to compete at my best, I truly had to let go of the results. I truly had to let go of just kind of, you know, the results at times. Sometimes, but you know what, I'm gonna go in there and fight and just see and let it do what it do. And that would be my mindset, because thinking about, you know, what was on the other side of it, whether it be a win or a loss, sometimes that'll be too much mental anguish for me between now and to the fight. So I wouldn't even think about it. I would just think about executing, think about what I'm going to do to execute my, you know, these techniques. And that would be all I thought about. So I had to let go. And with the psychedelics, it taught me to let go. It taught me to let go in different kind of ways. So now, you know, I kind of feel different about life. You know, I just kind of like, I guess, let go and let God, you know, and just truly trust in the fact that that there's nothing that's gonna, you know, hurt me. There's nothing that's going to, you know, take anything from me, you know, and all these things that I would fear and all these things that I would have bother me just seemed to dissipate the more I got comfortable with the understanding. But, you know, I'm just practicing death, man. You know, every phase of our life, you know, we are taught one thing. It's always about letting go. You know, when you're in high school, you got to let go so you can go to college. When you're in college, you got to let go so you can get into your career.
Yeah, that's a good way to
and
put
it's just
it.
always a series of letting go until you get to the final let go, which is letting go of your loved ones, then letting go of your life. You know, letting go of the life that you think you have, you know, and being comfortable, understanding the process of letting go has allowed me to just, you know, reach another part of my development, internally speaking, that I didn't really know existed.
So has that, I wanted to ask you one thing with this, man. Has that helped you become a better father to your children? That helped you become a better husband? Has that helped you with that learning the art of in the process of letting go, which I believe we all learn and through life, through the teachings? Has that overall helped you with your family, with your interactions with people? You know, with your patience that you said that you were working on, has that helped you with your patience? Has that helped you with just your everyday interactions? You know, has that overall spectrum helped your family and your interactions and things like that?
It helped me out a lot. You know, I feel like I'm much more present in family life, and I strive more to be doing things in my family and things like that, and really starting to, appreciate the time that I do have with them, because I understand that, my time with you is only so long. And at the end of the day, we all go our separate ways, but we really don't. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And it's helped me out a lot. And I still have a lot of areas to grow in this capacity, but, just understanding that when you let go and when you're able to truly let go and allow yourself to trust what will be, then you're at another level, because you're not afraid to experience whatever comes. There's so much fear about, what tomorrow brings or what it's not going to bring, But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you can't keep any of it.
Amen.
Yep.
You got to let it go, man.
Yep.
You got to let it go, man.
I'll tell you one thing. My kids definitely helped me because like in this journey of this career, like this wild career, because like people doubt what you're going to be at the end of it and stuff. It helped me, like, because they're always on the grind of like this booking, train, this booking. You're just hustling to try to get to the next booking. Hopefully that's the opportunity, and hopefully that's the opportunity. Oh, I didn't. Okay, this one's going to be opportunity. My relationship with my kids and always going up to visit and see them, and made me have to be like, okay, what do I like? Because it would be times, or like not just what do I like, but like what is out there in the world that's not about this subject.
Right. Yeah.
For my girls to be like, oh, we want to do this, we want to see this, and I'm like, okay, now, but I also want to introduce them to things that they don't know they want to see.
Right.
So I got to do the extra research to be like, okay, let me figure out what Naya is into.
Yeah.
Let me figure out what Aaliyah's into.
Yeah.
And then let me just be creative and figure, when I come in to visit, it's going to be like a special moment. So like they, once again, you take those memories with them as they grow. So they can look back and be like, yo, Dad always had something cool and unique to do.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But like you have to step away from certain things and just like maybe just a weekend, maybe a day or two, whatever, just to understand like what's out there in the world that I can provide and give to my loved ones.
Yep.
And then we can all learn and explore this together.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the beauty about like that. To anybody watching this and stuff at home, make sure you take that time, whatever you're on the grind doing, even if not even just in like pro wrestling, sports entertainment, being a rapper, being a UFC fighter, an MMA fighter, always find time to take a step back a little bit and understand who you are. Take your time for your loved ones, take your time for yourself. So, because it does end at some point. You can't do it forever. It's going to end, but make sure you're okay with the ending. You're okay. You accept that it's over, but you're not sad about it. You're at peace with it. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, and I knew that for me there would be which reason why I asked you that question was because I knew there'd be a day where I'm transitioning in my life where I know I'm not going to be a rapper forever, and I'm going more into motivational speaking and more like mentoring and stuff like that. That's where my gear. Music's always going to be there. I'm probably always going to do it. But like my main focus is going to be more on like motivational speaking, mentoring kids. You know what I mean? That was kids. that was instilled for me from my granddad. That's what he was. He was a social worker, so he always worked with kids. And he was always, man, you got a great speaker, man. You probably gonna end up doing what I'm doing. I'm like, nah, whatever. And then 30 years later, here I am.
You want to be the best rapper at that time, man. You think about being the best rapper of all time.
And now, like at 33, I'm like, I really like the motivational speaking and stuff. Like it's just, it starts. Things start changing and things start gearing up. And I totally understand where you're coming from, Swerve, because when I have my kids, like nothing else exists except them. I'm not. But Dad's like, I want to watch your music video. But like, son, I'm not watching that. Like, I'm not. You can watch it, but I'm not. I don't want to get triggered into that mode. Right. I start thinking, man, I shouldn't have said it that way. So one thing I want to say too, I definitely want to give you your roses here on this, man.
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to say because growing up, there was, you have different people that you look up to or people that motivate you in different ways. And for me growing up, it was always Allen Iverson. It was Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., 24 Kobe.
So basically, everybody on the Sports Illustrated magazine.
Growing up, yeah.
That's the whole cover right there.
But then I got older. It was yourself.
Okay.
Because I started to. I wasn't even the biggest MMA guy.
Yeah.
At first, and I just something about you just glued me to you. It was just the way that you was in such a dominant sport, and he was one of the athletes that wasn't in particularly one of my favorite sports that I ended up really, really gearing up to, because for you it was like you, and it was Usain Bolt. It was y'all two. And so then when you said you changed your diet, it motivated me to start to.
Yeah, okay.
It motivated me to start to, and you went through your transition. And that's why I was asking you these spiritual questions, because I'm like, man, he's like, I've been following you just from not only your career, but just how things have changed, how you've changed from haircut Rashad to
Ultimate
now.
Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter Rashad to now. I've watched the whole thing. And it wasn't just me I remember being in Ale House watching your fights, and just things that you would say, your post interviews, like, that's something I would say. Yeah. And you know what I mean? You're one of the people that it glued me to. So for you even doing this, I know you got more to do, but I just want to thank you that for you even doing this, it means so much to me, because you don't really meet your heroes like that.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean? You really
that.
don't. So thank you, bro.
No time, man.
Yeah, like there be times he brings deals to me. I'm like, hold on. How do we even I gotta say, like, hold on. Group meeting, y'all. How did this happen?
How we gonna do this?
Yeah, man. But like, that's the fun thing about this, man. Like, I'll bring up some deals. I'm like, hey, we can possibly get this done. And then he's like, okay, cool. And this is kind of competition. Like, watch what I bring to the table next time. So it's like a back and forth. But it only grows the brand, grows the product, grows us as performers, grows as professionals, grows us as friends.
Absolutely, man.
This means a lot to me, dog.
It means a lot to me too.
Yeah, man. I like.
It was always the commentary for me too. Like, of course, I always like appreciate you as a fighter, but like the commentary and just like seeing you in a suit talking and spitting the knowledge, just that other perspective. I'm like,
sir.
That right there, that speaks to me, man. So that's what I always got out of it.
It's crazy because the older you get, you kind of become more cynical, you know, and it's hard for people to you kind of pick apart, you know, you don't mean to do it, but as you start becoming your own man, you start to pick apart things that people don't really, it's harder to find inspiration in other people sometimes when you're younger, because you're like, man, he's lying. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You pick up on the BS quick.
Right. Yeah. But I'm like 17, 18, and I'm watching you, and I'm like, man, it's just something about you, man, that it just geared me to you, just watching the way that you fought, things that you say, and to see your growth. So to see that the spiritual journey is a lot of the growth now. It's like, that's something that I'm tapping into as well. Me and him, we have a lot of long conversations that we're on PlayStation, just besides competing in Madden, going to damn near overtime every game. It's just the fact that we're
y'all be going like that.
We gonna meet. It's always a movie with us too, bro.
It's rough. It works on fight night.
Oh man.
Like, my God, 10 rounds at least every time.
Everything. It's like it's Ryu and Ken, bro.
I'm like, yo.
And then he picked up music, so he got into music, and now it's the same thing. Ryu and Ken, bro. It's just back and forth.
Especially when you don't know what he's about to say. And then you're like, I kind of know where he's going to go, but let me put something in here. And now it's like, okay,
it's a lot of fun, man. It's gearing up to seeing a lot of amazing black athletes, black men. All of us come together, and to be able to see someone like yourself to where you've gone, the depths of where you're going, and to see where the future is taking you. I can just imagine in 10 years from now how amazing of a coach you're going to be, especially with the spiritual journey. Dude, these guys, we're going to have like 10 champions walking here. You got to have like,
hopefully, man.
This whole wall going to be belts next time we come in here, bro. I swear.
Hopefully,
I'm
man.
telling you, dog.
Hopefully, man. I just love to. I love what this journey's been been for me, man. Just every aspect of it, even the parts where it wasn't my most shining moments, I still find great gratitude in having those moments, because everything helps tell the story of where I am right now, you know, and where I am right now is in a beautiful place. You know, I feel like I've arrived. No, I can't even say arrived. I say I've been able to tap into a part of myself that I didn't even truly know would even exist. You know, like I didn't even know I could even be disciplined with the diet and control what I put into my mouth, and, you know, all those kind of things. But, you know, something remarkable happens to your mentality when you start being very conscious of everything you put into your body. You know, when you start to be conscious of what you put into your body, why you put it into your body, your whole consciousness just starts to just shift in ways that you didn't even really even foresee. And then next thing you know, like you don't even really see it in yourself as other people like, man, you seem different, you know, or after a while, you're just like, man, maybe something did change. And every once in a while you'll catch a glimpse of that change. But for the most part, you know, you're just living with your truth. And the truth is, you know, when you become more conscious of what you eat and things like that, then you become more conscious in general. You know, your consciousness just expands and what you're able to bring out of yourself is remarkable, man. So hats off to you in your journey, starting it off. And
thank you, brother.
I ain't got there yet. I like too much junk, man.
Yeah,
I like too much junk food.
It takes time. And it's something that
it's too sporadic for me. Jelly beans right here, bop, bop, and I just, you know, it's hard for me.
Yeah, but I mean, everything's in moderation, and that's what I learned. I learned, you know, moderation more than anything, and what I can have and what I can't have, and I never get myself to the point with a diet or something where I say, I can't have this, I can't have that. Even if I would never have it, I would never put in my mind that I can't have it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Let me start adjusting my mindset about. Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way.
Yeah, because when you when you put that can on it,
playing mind tricks on Debo.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm serious. Yo. They'd be like, did you say you can't have this? No, I didn't say I couldn't have it.
Yeah, that's the key.
I got you.
I can't have it. I choose not.
I choose not to.
So you keep the power because it's always your choice.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Man.
I got some growing up to do, bro.
I'm never going to fight the MMA, but one day I'm just going to train here to like carry the buckets of water up the stairs for you. Like, I never going to say it's in pain, but I'm going to choose not to complain about the pain that I'm feeling in my legs right now.
Telling you, man.
So we got one chit trap question my man Siren brought to the table on the drive down here. It was a great question. I might answer it myself. I know you will. Everybody should answer this question. Okay, in all the action movies that you've ever seen in your lifetime, who would you like to have a one-on-one fight with? Protagonist or antagonist? The character, not the actor.
The character. Okay. Man. Who would I want to fight, man?
Who would I want to fight?
Dang.
For me, I'm going to like, this is not even not one of the biggest movies, not even one of the biggest action movies, but I know I remember going to the movie theater with my sister to see this, and like the special effects at the time blew my mind of how they were doing this. I want to fight Jet Li in The One.
Oh, he was cold-blooded. He was cold-blooded.
Like, bro, when he hit the dude and he stayed in the air and then hit him through a motorcycle at him, I'm like, this is the coolest villain in the world.
Yeah, he was the coolest villain in the world.
It was just cold, man. And there was just they were the last two in the whole universe. I'm like, that's amazing.
You know who I want to fight though? I want to fight Rocky, man.
Yeah.
I want to fight Rocky. Here's why I want to fight Rocky. I like Sylvester Stallone, but man, look.
Get your round off, brother.
Look, man, I'm not really, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I liked how he came back. I liked the brutality he was able to beat, man, but man, I mean, there's something about Rocky that just made me just really want to whoop his ass, man.
He's from Philly, that's why. Because he's from Philly.
Yeah,
because he's from Philly.
Because
he's from Philly.
Say that, bro. I've heard a few fighters.
Because he's from Philly.
Yeah, I want.
You like chasing chickens, man? You ain't with this.
Yeah, I really want to fight him because he's like, hey, yo, you knocked him down. Won't you try knocking me down now, Tommy? You know, when he came with that, I'm just like, man, Tommy, piece his ass up, man. You don't gotta go with that. You know what I'm saying? Knock him down, Tommy.
You being a fighter and stuff happened in that movie, like, really, dude?
Yeah.
He got knocked down 8 times.
8 times. Like, oh, that's
man.
A long 8 count there.
It's a long 8 count, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't know who I want to test a theory. I want to hit prime Steven Seagal one time with some.
Oh, he's
then-
not that fast. He can't be that fast.
Now, which
that
prime
man
Steven
cannot be that
Seagal?
fast.
The one that
What's the one where he beat us to
the
make
Mark
you
for
stop
Death.
the blood
Mark for
clot crying?
Death.
That movie.
Stop
Mark for
the
Death.
blood clot crying.
Oh,
Stop the
God.
blood. That was Steven
Mark for
Seagal.
Death. Mark for Death.
Yeah.
Mark for Death?
Yeah, Mark for Death.
I have this theory, like I can hit you with as a stick or something, but every person that comes to you, nobody can touch you,
No,
dog.
Jamaican.
And he stays in his
He stays in the-
box.
Yeah, he does
He
too.
just, and he's always symmetrical.
It don't look like he's doing anything,
asymmetrical.
too.
He's always going
Yeah.
straight, and everybody's
Yeah,
walks to
he's
him.
just here.
It's like, you know what? I know why you're hitting this dude. I can hit you with a stick or something to bring your knee down.
But how
Something,
about screw fist? Me no screw fist.
Yeah, man.
Who did it? White boy Hacha? I used to love that.
Every
joint, man.
Steven Seagal movie, you know what's coming. Everybody's walking up to him. The arm's gonna be over here.
You know,
legs will be over-
Steven Seagal showed Anderson Silva. He was used to, work with some of the MMA athletes, and they say he showed Anderson Silva that front kick,
No.
the one that knocked out Vitor Belfort.
Actually, yeah, I can believe that. I can believe it.
They say that was his kick.
I can believe it.
That was kick, but
Because you got in the box. Ha.
yeah, but you know who's real cold. You know who's real cold at martial arts that you wouldn't think that's real dope on a movie. Michael Jai White, man.
Oh, no. I think he's incredible.
Yo, Michael Jai
I think
White,
incredible.
yo.
I'm scared of him.
Yo,
bro.
for real.
Blood
yo,
and
he
Bones
is-
scared me.
Yo, he's he can really do this shit for real, man.
Yep.
He's got some like technique that you like, oh, I didn't know. Wow, I never did like that before. You know what I'm saying? Like he could show you some stuff to make it like way
I remember
easier
he would do
sometimes.
demonstrations on his social media talking about like the punching and like the
Yeah.
speed of it. He's like, oh, I have to throw it fast. I could just I'm like, these dudes can't block it. Like, he's a guru, man.
I mean, I would watch him on TV. I'm just like, yo. I'm like, he's all right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really give him a lot of props. You know what I'm saying? Because he's on TV, right? And then once you
Yeah.
fight,
You gonna size him up.
once you go,
Like,
like, he's all right. He's all right. But I went to his house one time to like watch some boxing match. And afterwards, he was very, very gracious, and he kind of, showed me his workout area. And I'm like, okay, you got a workout area. I'm like, what could he do? This motherfucker showed me like he showed me a seminar, just something I had no idea. And I was like, wait, so how you do it? Boy, he was schooling me, man.
And he's limber too.
Yeah, he was schooling me, man.
Moves.
Old school.
He's a heavy guy.
Jack.
That-
Yeah.
To move like that and be that heavy. And he was doing it in Tim's, bro. Like, you're not throwing triple roundhouse,
Yeah.
jumping somersaults, hitting 3 people in Tim's. Come on, man.
I'm telling
Miss me
you,
with
bro.
that.
He's pretty dope though.
Scott Adkins is a bad dude. I've been studying him.
Scott Atkins?
Boyka and
Okay.
Undisputed.
Okay.
Michael Jai White fought him in the prison movie.
Yeah.
That's a bad dude. He was like run up the turnbuckle, spinning back joint on you. Like that's a bad dude. He would look like, as far as the acrobats style of the
Right.
action scenes.
Yeah.
He'd be someone I would love to just go. I'd get rocked, of course, but like I'm like, yeah, you ain't gonna hit all your shots on me. You know what I'm saying?
Not all of them.
Not all.
Not all of them.
You gonna catch me, and it's going. I'm going down, but you ain't gonna hit everything.
Not everything.
No, you ain't gonna Naya. If you know what I'm saying.
So, one last music question I have for you: the soundtrack to your life. Who makes the album?
Dang, that's a good one, man.
Good Lord.
It could be a band. It could be a group. It could be.
First of all, hold on.
man.
Y'all ain't answer the action movie question.
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Who you fighting, Si? 2 Left Feet? Who'd you fighting?
I would probably fight, what's his name? Creed, who Creed fought? Creed 2. The big dude.
Oh yeah. The Dolph Lundgren's son.
Yeah, his son. I would fight him
Okay.
against better judgment, but I don't know, dude. Like, it's just like, the guy's like really, like, just a mountain of a dude. And I'm just like, yo.
Stick and move, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna take on somebody. That's what they're gonna do.
Right.
I'm like, how did Adonis Creed lose to the one dude but beat the bigger dude?
How the hell he do that, right?
I'm like, yeah, this can't be in your weight class.
Right.
I was like, how did that fight happen?
That's what I'm saying. Like this. Mike, you got anybody? He's like, nah, I ain't about that altercation life.
I'm really not about that. I'm right there with you.
Dang, who would write my life story, man?
It's a musician, you said?
Yeah, it could be a band. It could be a group. Anything. You don't have to be a rapper. It could be anything. Anybody.
I'm see, like when I so when I'm in my mode, when I'm just like chilling, I always find myself playing some old school Al Green, and I vibe with every song. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like
that's how the kids got here, huh?
Yep. Hey. I'm telling you, that's the sound. That's the soundtrack to my life, man. Yeah. Al Green, man. I think I can find some of his jams for almost every moment of my life. Even when with the whole fight. Matter of fact, in a couple countdown shows, they played Al Green when I was on there, man. They played,
You give off of Al Green vibe.
The Al Green vibe.
Man, you get some hot pot grits in your face and you survive it, and you recover and have a second comeback. You the GOAT, bro.
I'm telling you, bro.
You know what I'll say? I'll say a group for me. Like if I was like walking down the street, I imagine this playing every time I was walking down the street. Something from Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest.
That fits you, bro.
I'm a Tribe Called, like, because like I always picture like the opening of the Wayans Brothers show. Mm-hmm. Like I always picture that's how I'd be crossing the street. That's always just stuck in my mind.
That's amazing.
Like Electric Relaxation's playing somewhere right now, and I just don't know it.
Yeah,
that's fire.
How about you? Who
me? Probably, honestly, I'd like. It would be somebody unique because it probably wouldn't be on the rap side for me. It would maybe be, I would say, like Bobby Womack.
See you okay?
It would be like Bobby Womack because like I was like a dirty dog back in my day.
Oh God!
and then I grew up, and then my music matured. The stuff Bobby started talking about when he got older, the stuff I talk about now. Yeah. But like young like Bobby,
people looking at you like nasty.
Young Bobby, young Bobby Womack. You'd be like, well, this dude is. But the music was timeless, like Toxic Teasy. That was a different guy. They don't know Toxic Teasy. Toxic Teasy. Toxic Teasy was high school, early college days.
Before after the Demon.
This is the Demon name. My first rap name was the Demon, y'all. So y'all know that.
Yeah.
Toxic.
It was a demon, huh?
Oh, so bad. Oh,
that's like
horrible.
Against the Lord.
That sounds like Cab the Bastard days.
Yo,
Little Cab the Bastard.
So bad, dude. You couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I was the man, dog. Oh my God. Now see, if you know that the Demon versus me now, I'm kicking his ass.
You kicking the demon's ass.
That dude was trash. But yeah.
You better beat the Demon.
So what's your rap flow like though? I mean,
so you get some links to your phone, bro.
Hello.
I mean, you don't got a freestyle?
Oh, so do something now?
I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I mean, as an artist,
if this is what I do, I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I ain't.
You want me to freestyle? You want me to do something?
Yeah,
written?
I want to hear you do something. I want you to do something written. I want to hear something that you've put some time into, so I know that you.
Erica Sun 2 preview.
All I know is struggle. Living life, standing with hustle, JetBlue flights, living the night, uncomfortable, trusting you. Living life, unbreakable breaker, living life in my time. Retire magic, I am not a Laker, abrasive. Giving all I got, I need a baker. Praying to God that it is my living like it's my decision. Living life is moving like OJ, not concentrated. Thinking about my mind, and of course it's not an observation. Praying the world, but my mindset is killing me. How many hating beyond time's infinity? But lyrically, thinking about my mindset that's gimmicky. Plug the back of your head, Neo and Trinity, seeing me in sometime a different way, in different days I can move abrasive. Time now that I can move the statement. In my mind, I'll be fine in time. I move around like JetBlue with patience of my mind. Lord, please, I'm thinking about this time and my disease. For everything that I've seen in the product that I believe. Step back, here's the world when I get back. Here's my life for moving down to the moon without the jetpack. If I could think about the statement in my placement, I'm thinking about everything that I moved now when I made it. Here's my timeline, my lyrical mind find. The flow has been moving now, but if I move that, then I'm going to want time to be the greatest. My statements of if I'm living. Everything that I did and I'm focused on my forgiving. And you know that I get it, my flow now. My time's good at Pangress, I'm sitting here with Swerve and Rashad Evans.
Oh, hey, okay. Yes, sir. Yo, okay, so you do that. Now you do that rap. You rapping too, right?
I feature on some things.
Okay.
Give him something, bro.
Let me hear something, Swerve. Let me hear something, Swerve.
Some Erica Sun 2 coming out We got commas, smoke away all of my dollars, waking up with all this baby mama drama, wishing that I could just puff away my problems, pick apart the proper, scratch the tickets off and maybe hit the lotto, look to feed my daughter, be a better father, fall out even harder, don't consume McDonald's. Think my call is dropping?
What?
Burn it all down and then find out what remains. Hang up the jersey, retire from the game. Give up the fortune, but give up the fame. Fly up to Spain and Mediterranean. Now, this could be us, but we steady playing. Could be running this states like Obama Dame. Like Obama Dame. Off of these states with Obama Dame. She a pretty young thing. Baddest girl stepped on the scene. Like to go fast in that cherry red bet with them 500 left. She my lightning McQueen. Girl fitting right in the jeans. Been in the league like I'm just right to the league professionally. Just so enticing to me. Texting you while there's another one. Hand on my lap and the next she'll be blessing on me. Like she just blew up the sneeze. Cop trying to pull me over for exceeding the speed. Get her home right before 3. Probably next will be ripping off them panties like it's a pyramid scheme, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
That's my artist.
Yo,
I'm taking credit for that. That's my guy.
That's
All you
y'all
labels,
got talent.
he ain't signing nobody.
Hey, I can't anyway.
You feel me? You feel me? So yeah.
Hey, y'all come with it,
Yeah,
boy.
man. Erica's son 2 coming soon.
Yeah, man. It's
Erica's son GPS. We out here.
it's an amazing thing, man. To be able to link up with my brother and to be able to do this and for everything that we've done together, doing this podcast together, musically, and putting all this and seeing how we built this team together with these guys, Mike, Sai, shout out to X.
It's a family over here.
It's a family, man. We all push each other to be better, to be great, and we've all stuck together, man. We met in 2014, 15. We've started working together in 17. We've been at it ever since. We always said, no money, no fame, no women, nothing's going to come between this brotherhood, and we've been here ever since, brother.
So how did y'all even come about getting to that level? Was it just like y'all met each other, y'all like, yo, you cool? Like how did it go to that level?
He always tells the story better than me, but I always do the first half, and then he takes it over and does the second half.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like literally 2015, I was wrestling a promotion called MCW in Maryland, right? Just another booking, but it was like a tournament called the Shamrock Cup, and it was the finals. It was like 6 men in the ring at the same time. The last person everybody did their entrances. The final man, he was the champion, so he had to defend the title. Coming in the 6 man, he rapped the performance out. Like rap the Drolix.
Yeah.
Drolix was the champion, rapping him out to the ring and whatever. I was like, oh, dude's dope. Okay. But I'm still having focus on doing this match. Right? So we do the match or whatever afterwards. We dapped it up. It was cool.
Precursor. That was after the Demon days. Just
after Demon.
Post Demon. Post Demon. Thank God.
At the merch table selling my gimmicks, my T-shirts and all that stuff. He was next to me. Just dapped it up. It was cool. We chopped it up for a little bit. Years later, we don't link back up to like 2018, right? 2017. I moved down to Florida. I'm in Orlando. He's in Tampa. And he asked me to do an interview. So I drive all the way down. I'm like, he had like a whole sheet of like things written down, questions he was going to go to. We was going to weave back and forth. He just took it. How you doing, brother? And we just start filming. And we go for like 45 minutes. And then you take it from here.
And so the great thing about that, really, just to give you a brief synopsis of that, man, I knew kind of like this conversation, man. We have over ideas of what we want to talk about to keep the direction of the flow conversation, but a lot of it is just natural, man. Yeah. This, like we're talking now, this natural conversation, and I felt a vibe with him. I felt like it was like a brother because I was always the oldest. I'm the oldest sibling, so I didn't have like a brother. I grew up around a bunch of women. No, not saying that like that's a bad thing.
Same here though.
But not having like that brother. A guy like that, I've known Sai 10 years. So knowing like having these people together and all of us coming together, linking like that and linking with him was like, man, we got a lot in common. So basically we did the podcast. He invited me to do a podcast with him, and we started from 2 beanbags on Instagram Live just together.
Like literally, I just moved in at the time too. So it was just like TV, beanbags in the middle of the room, and we had microphones. And like a couch back there.
Oh yeah,
nothing on the wall.
That's
nothing.
dope though. That's what it's about, man.
And we just like our buddy of ours, shout out Cash from Say Less with Cash on Spotify. Lo, Rosie, all them, love y'all guys. He always just mentored us because he does big media stuff on Team LeBron and marketing and stuff like that. But he always has and he's always doing something with like Cricket Wireless and all this stuff. So I'm getting advice from him. We're having conference calls. How do we make this better? How do we improve? How do we get better? Because he was just like always peeking in, checking in. Going doing his thing, always peeking in, and he just say consistency, no matter what. Even if it's like raining outside, be consistent. If like the guest can't make it, find a way, be consistent, because everybody's waiting on the drop on Tuesday.
Right.
Everybody's
right.
expecting it. Get them expecting stuff, and we just stayed with it, challenging each other. Like when the pandemic happened, it was like, oh, WWE stars had to come to Orlando all to perform. So I was just like, hey, Kofi Kingston, WWE champion, want to come on the show? And they was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool, we got a guest. And then like the word got through to that, and then that got through to the next person. The next person got to that person, and then like. Next
Just have people all the time.
Yeah,
huh?
we got Donnell Jones coming through that did the podcast. We got
Donnell Jones.
Yeah, that's our guy now, man.
Wow, that's my dude, man.
That's our guy.
That's my dude, man.
He got us tickets to go see him in Connecticut. Him and Music Soul Child. So we was up there chilling with them.
Dang, I would have loved to see that, man.
And 4,000 people in front.
Hey, so I got a question for you, real quick.
Crazy.
I have to say this while we're talking about that. So we have a couple songs with the great. The second person you mentioned, Mr. Soulchild. So
Okay, music, huh? Okay.
and
okay.
we love for you to be in videos.
Oh,
man.
hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hey, let me know. Absolutely. Yeah. Where we gonna be at? Are we gonna be in Orlando on this one? Where we gonna be at?
Bro, you gonna get the call ASAP, brother.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Yo, that's amazing, brother. That's
Be
amazing.
confident in everything you do. That was Rashad Evans, Swerve City Podcast. We back, son.
Yes, we back, dog. Oh yeah, wash your ass.
Oh, you gotta get a pop and yeah, whatever. We used to say some stuff. Do your homework.
Do your homework.
You remembered. Yay. That's it, y'all. Sign off.
Wow.